Hey, welcome back. Osaka is the kind of city where breakfast starts under market roofs and somehow ends under neon by a canal. Do it well, and you get the best part of Osaka, because bad timing here mostly means bigger crowds and a worse snack decision. I already mapped the whole route into a template, so if you want it, the link's in the description. Spring suits Osaka nicely, covered arcades by day, louder streets by night, and just enough cool air to make the evenings feel earned. First up, Osaka introduces itself the correct way, market breakfast, a cover street that keeps tempting you forward, then full neon food theater. Kuromon Market is a fast way to understand why Osaka gets taken so seriously as a food city. It is less pretty than useful, which is part of the charm. Grills hissing, wet seafood counters, bright fruit, people making very sudden purchases. Come in the morning because the stalls feel easier to browse before it turns into a shoulder-to-shoulder snack parade. Start light, share bites, and do not blow the whole day on scallops in the first 20 minutes like an eager amateur. From there, Shinsaibashi-Suji is not just shopping, it is central Osaka at walking speed under one long covered roof. You get chain stores, old merchant street energy, bakery smells, and that constant human tide moving at several incompatible speeds. It works here because the walk itself becomes part of the day instead of dead space between food stops. I would treat it as a corridor with snack detours, not a retail mission. Unless mild consumer confusion is your hobby. Then Dotonbori gives you the Osaka image most people already know: canal, giant signs, bright chaos, and dinner competing with billboards. The place matters because Osaka does appetite very publicly here. It feels like an entertainment district built around hunger. Go near evening for the lights, then watch the main strip, the bridges, and the side alleys where the pressure finally drops a bit. Just do not assume the biggest sign means the best food. That is how first visits become branding studies with sauce on them. Day 2 gets more local, a long everyday arcade, a riverside breather, then a skyline stop that finally shows how huge Osaka actually is. Tenjinbashi-suji is a very long shopping street, but the point is not length, so much as everyday Osaka life unfolding under a roof. This is where the city feels less staged. Lunch smells, bargain signs, old school shops, and places built for regulars, not just cameras. It belongs today because, after Dotonbori, seeing the less polished version of Osaka tells you more about the city. Do not try to conquer the whole thing like a civic duty. Pick a section and let the good food reveal itself. Nakanoshima Park is the reset. A slim riverside park where Osaka suddenly remembers indoor appetite is not its only personality. You get water, civic buildings, softer footsteps, and in spring, a useful break from looking at menus every 6 minutes. It works in the afternoon because this is usually when a food trip starts pretending it is also a wellness trip. A light layer helps by the river, but mostly this stop is here so the city can lower its voice for a minute. Kuchu Teien Observatory changes the scale of everything because Osaka from above looks broader, grittier, and more industrial than the nightlife version suggests. The building is part of the drama too, which is helpful when you want more than just another tall view. Go before sunset if the sky is clear enough, so you get daylight context first and city lights after. On a hazy day though, a skyline can turn into an expensive lesson in atmospheric disappointment. The last day swings between old symbol polished skyline and retro weirdness, which is a pretty fair summary of Osaka in general. Osaka Castle Park gives you the classic landmark shot, but the wider park is what makes the place feel human. You have moats, stone walls, broad paths, seasonal trees, and joggers casually passing a site tied to major power struggles. Go in the morning because the grounds feel calmer and the castle area gets busier later, especially in blossom season. I would treat it as a park walk first and a castle photo second. That read feels much closer to how the space actually works. Harukas 300 is Osaka from the polished edge, high, sleek, and weirdly orderly for a city that rarely feels orderly at street level. It is useful less as heritage and more as a contrast piece, showing the modern vertical version of Osaka. Pick the clearest afternoon because height only helps if the air is doing its part. If the view is hazy, keep this one brief and move on. Urban sprawl does not always become profound just because you are higher up. Tsutenkaku is the quicker stranger landmark. Less grandeur, more old showpiece tower, anchoring a district with fried food in the air. It matters because Shinsekai shows a rougher, more nostalgic Osaka, the version with charm and a little visible wear. Mid-afternoon works well here because you can read the area before the dinner rush and then drift straight into the surrounding streets. Use the tower as your marker, but spend most of your time outside it, where the retro mood gets a little scruffy and much more interesting. What sticks with Osaka is not just that it feeds you well, it is how the city keeps switching from practical to theatrical without warning. If you want the pre-built route template with the map view already laid out, grab it from the description or pinned comment. If you had 3 days in Osaka, tell me which stop you would build your trip around in the comments.